So this is a special edition, special Thanksgiving edition of Critique-Opolis. Louisa and I are really just kicking it today. Didn't feel like doing the big dinner family thing, and I thought we could review. I'm really liking this email I'm getting of the dailies of all the different stuff that's happening in Hollywood, and I thought it goes pretty good with our Blacklist commentary, especially since there's a couple of sections in here about what's being renewed and canceled and what's in development. And I can tell you that I'm not going to remember all the different blacklists that we pick out, but I am willing to bet if we do this long enough, sooner or later, we're going to find a picture that's in development that we talked about on the blacklist.
That would be very cool.
So I thought we'd just chat about some of the things that came out this week.
Okay.
Because we're going to cook in a little while here, but some of these just... my consumption of movies and especially television is more fragmented. Like I'll just see TV shows or parts of TV shows because I don't like subscribe to television, but I'll see it at the gym. And some of you heard about all that stuff that was happening with Kevin Costner with his divorce and Yellowstone.
Like a while back, yeah, not recently.
Well, yeah, wasn't it in that? You read People.
I do.
Doesn't it? Wasn't he on the cover? He was on like one of the subsets of the cover about he's going through this huge divorce, and he has like a ton of his ex-wife is asking for a ton of money, and it put the production of Yellowstone.
Yeah, you're right. He was on the cover of People a while back, recently, I should say. But yeah, his wife is making it really difficult.
It was kind of messing with the production, I think, of Yellowstone, and it just came out that Yellowstone's going to resume filming for its final episode in late spring of 2024, and the second half of its fifth and final season will premiere this time next year. Now, I like watch clips of Yellowstone online, and I think it's kind of become like the right-wing mantra, like just because it's so many. It takes place out in the West, and it's this kind of frontier. The whole show is like a frontier mentality kind of thing. Like Kevin Costner has this piece of land, he has a ranch on it, and developers are trying to move in and take it over from him, and he's like, I'm just not having that. It's mine, and I'll go to whatever, like I'll commit murders and bury people out in the wilderness where no one will find them. I'm so committed to keeping this in my family.
Oh wow, I had no idea. All I knew was that he was on this show called Yellowstone and people really like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Wild West Mafia.
Huh, okay.
But for anybody who listens in, I do sell honey at gun shows in the winter, and I don't fall on any particular side of the spectrum, but I can tell you that everybody who sells at the gun show would be, or it has to be, a huge fan of this show. So I'm really, the clips I have seen online, it's really well made. And I think a lot of people were concerned that it would stall and not get going again. That has tended to happen a lot.
Where do you watch it?
It's on Paramount, but you can see clips of it online.
I see.
And then, did you... You know how certain movies, like they get a franchise and you kind of lose track of how well developed they are and how many are in the series?
Yep, happens all the time.
So Rocky gave birth to Creed, and I guess they're now on Creed 4.
That was one of the things I was going to talk about too.
I didn't even know there was a 2.
Definitely, I didn't know there. I definitely did not know there was a 2 either.
So Michael B. Jordan is going to be. It looks like he's directing that, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me.
Well, he stars in all. He's a
very good, a well-known actor. He does a lot of good movies and roles.
What else was he in? And I'm sure there's plenty of people, anyone who would listen to this, well, he was in X, Y, and Z, and like, I didn't watch beyond Rocky 4.
I've never seen any of the Rocky movies or these Creed movies, but he was in a movie I never saw that I wanted to see called Fruitvale Station, and he was in, what are those, Wakanda Forever,
Oh, right,
the Black Panther movies.
Right.
And I mean other stuff too, but those are the ones that come to mind quickly. He was one of
Go
I think
ahead.
he was one of the sexiest men alive for People magazine.
I believe it. Have you seen that, guys?
He
Jesus.
is ripped, yeah.
This was, and I am not a Kardashian follower, but I did find this interesting. Kim Kardashian set to star in and produce a comedy called The Fifth Wheel.
Yeah, do you know anything more about that? I don't know what I saw that and I was like, I read it a few times because I was like, Kim Kardashian's what? Doing what?
Apparently there's a bidding war for this between multiple studios.
Do you know what The Fifth Wheel is? I don't know.
Paula Pell is co-writing per the dish, but while we're talking here, I'll see what I can dig up. Kardashian has been very hands-on on the pitch of a female-driven comedy, appearing at each meeting to deliver the pitch, and the studios are lining up to get in business with Kardashian. She's done limited work as an actress, including lending her voice to 2 Paw Patrol films. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and her kids have also lent their voices because I went with my mom and my niece to see the last Paw Patrol movie, and of course I watch all the credits. And when they were coming up, I was like, are the Kardashian kids or Kim's kids in this movie? And I was like, I couldn't believe it.
You know what? Say whatever you want about the Kardashians and love them or hate them, whatever. They have got their hands in a zillion different pies. They know
This is true.
They know how to make money.
They really do. But they really annoy me too.
Hey, I get it, but like from a business perspective, that girl's killing it. She's done limited work as an actress, including lending her voice to Paw Patrol films. Stepped it up with a scene-stealing role in the most recent season of FX's American Horror Story. That I didn't know. Role as a publicist earned her strong notices. Looking to build off that and jump into a feature film. But a lot of times, like when people go from a series or a television project, they do a number of them before they jump to film, and she's just hopscotching right into it from one or two television properties. Pell is a Saturday Night Live vet who went to work on a Tina Fey film for 30 Rock, and also with Amy Poehler and Judd Apatow. So that actually might be, she's got a real pedigree when it comes to comedy. It'll be interesting to see. Like, again, I wouldn't flock to see normally a Kardashian movie, but if there's going to be quality Saturday Night Live people producing and writing it, that might be worth consideration.
Yep, that's true.
What was one of the things you wanted to poke your head in about? Don't tell me it's the John Hamm thing.
No, it's not the John Hamm thing.
What?
The discussion on the Golden Globes
coming
back.
You know what? I skimmed that. Tell me what you picked up from it, because the thing that caught most of my attention was the clip they put up of Ricky Gervais.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I sort of skimmed it too. But maybe, and I could be wrong because I really don't remember, but maybe last year they didn't have them. And then the year before, they were very minimal.
I think that's because
the writer's strike.
I love Gervais, and I love that guy just doesn't give a shit, and he'll say whatever. After a tumultuous period marked by scandals and a diminishing appeal, Golden Globes have made a surprising rebound, securing a broadcast spot on CBS for their 81st show in January of 2024.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm reading the same thing that you're reading from, and it just says that they parted ways with NBC and they're putting it on CBS.
That's right.
That's what the big thing is.
Yeah, because they didn't have a home.
Being a fan of NBC. Yeah. Also, award shows, but anyway.
This move follows a multi-month quest for a new partner. That's so funny because there's only 3 networks.
Yeah. What's the other one? ABC.
And ABC. So, I mean, they're not going to put it on a streaming platform. Nobody's going to watch that. They had, like, who else could they have chosen from?
TV-wise, TV station-wise, those are the ones. But I think it is on streaming. It's on Paramount Plus.
People really watch that, eh? Wow. Well, what do I know? I guess that's why I'm not running a streaming service.
I think it's interesting because, as you know, and from our last Oscar-ish episode, I love the Oscars. Like, I live for the Oscars. It's my favorite night of the year.
Do you watch this as much as the Oscars?
No, but the Golden Globes are really good. I think you would say precursor to
What's going to happen?
what's going to happen at the Oscars. So both are really like glitzy and glamoury nights, as one would say.
The Globes now run as a commercial venture following the dissolution of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which I didn't even know that. God, for people who review and critique movie stuff, how's that one we didn't know about?
I definitely didn't know about the dissolution. How can they have? Well, okay.
Hoping to revitalize their standing by airing live on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus, and leveraging a major marketing push, despite facing the second lowest ratings ever in 2023. Oof. I do wonder if that's because Gervais got up there and like just put all those celebrities in their place. We're like, you're in no position to talk about anything political. You guys have easy lives. You make millions of dollars. You live out here in the California sunshine, and you're not in the Gaza Strip fighting
No,
for
what's to
anybody's
complain
freedom.
about?
And yet they, anything where Meryl Streep's part of it, she's got to get on her soapbox and get people stirred up about being involved while not really doing anything.
Also, I could look this up while we're talking, but I think Ricky Gervais has hosted a couple of times.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes.
Yeah, that's what
right?
that's what I'm talking about when he got up there and he I should show it to you later. He berated.
Oh, I think I watched it. I think
was-
I watched it. I mean, we could watch it again. Yeah, no
it was
problem. But like, it
wonderful. It was wonderful.
It was really good. It got everybody's attention, and
Yeah.
isn't that what they want the MC to do?
That's the thing about Hollywood is they all publicity is regardless. It's really pretty good, but they're all in their own head and all in their own egos, so they get all worked up. But like, hey man, I'm sure he was driving numbers. I mean that just his speaking points in the Globes a couple of years ago. That YouTube clip has a bazillion downloads.
I've watched it before, and I watched the live show. I mean, it's entertaining. And I mean, honestly, they do that at the Oscars too. Didn't Chris Rock host? Wasn't that last year?
And when he got punched or smacked or
Yeah,
whatever, that's what, like.
And like
People want to see that.
the people who are filming the audience, they're like waiting, standing by,
Like, I wanna
so and
see
so
something
to see the
awful
reaction of that person when the host makes the joke about them. I think it's a big. Didn't you already say a big driving? I think that's why people tune in.
Yeah, well, it didn't used to be. They wanted to know what's the best one, and that's a funny thing about these award shows is they're all lobbied now. They're not like it's not really on the merits of the movie. The filmmakers have staffs of people who submit to the Academy.
They do, yeah. They're very
and lobby them and gifts
Yeah.
and favors to kind of
Yeah.
get one picked. So having a movie picked really means nothing. Like if you want to watch a award show that really highlights a movie that people are talking about and that's doing well and that is having a cultural impact, it should be more like the People's Choice Awards.
Yeah, or like the SAG Awards where people are. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah.
The SAG Awards where it's the actors picking for the actors. Or what am I trying to say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if De Niro is saying that Pacino's really deserves it this year, that's like whoever.
It's like peer to peer.
Yeah. Renewed and canceled. Love Island USA. I didn't even know that was still going. Picked up for 2 more seasons.
I've never even heard of that.
It's one of those shows. Where
Oh, actually, I've seen it on Netflix or something.
isn't
I
it
think.
they dump a bunch
Peacock.
of pretty people in on a tropical island and see who hooks up and who screws who.
Oh, have we not seen those kind of shows before?
Aren't there like 10 of those?
I think so. I've never watched a show like that because my time is a little more precious than that.
Harley Quinn has her own show. It's being renewed for season 5.
I know.
Man.
First of all, I didn't even know she had a show. Second of all, season 5 already? I would sort of be
What?
interested, thank you, in this SEAL team show. I
Really?
wonder what that's about. Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked. That'd be like, that's a military thing. I wouldn't have picked you for that. I thought you'd have been more interested in this Unstable, the thing with Rob Lowe for season 2. I didn't know anything about, but it looks like.
I don't know anything about that either. But it's on Netflix, which I
And
have.
it's Rob
so.
Lowe. We gotta watch that.
You think so? Okay.
I like Rob Lowe. He's funny, and I don't think he started out as a comedic actor, but all the roles I see him in, he's. I mean, ever since, did you ever see Wayne's World, the movie?
I never did, no.
He was in that, and he was kind of this smug studio exec who tries to, who played Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Yep, mm-hmm.
Oh, Dana Carvey just lost a son. Did you hear that?
No, what happened?
Drugs.
Oh, really?
No.
No, I didn't see that. That's sad.
But, yeah, so Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, Wayne and Garth from the Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah.
So they get their own TV show, but it goes big, and the guy who shepherds it, the studio executive, is Rob Lowe.
Oh,
And
yeah, I didn't
And he's a schmo.
I didn't think of him as funny, to be honest, so
He's good.
yeah. Nice.
Well, he's in Parks and Rec.
I don't watch that show.
What? That's a funny show.
I don't watch a lot of television or TV.
I don't either. It's all YouTube clips.
Oh, okay.
I hope that like Hollywood is listening, because instead of watching, I hate to say I can't get through the whole show, but I really can't. Like if I'll consume clips like I just want candy right before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I just want to see a little bit of action or a little bit of something absurdly funny, and I'll watch something for like 10, 15 minutes. That's it. I can't get through a whole show. There's very few shows that even Yellowstone, that's a good program, but I can only watch if it's on when I'm working out. I can watch that, but I'm curious of who listens to this would actually say the same thing. Like watching a whole show, like I did it when I was young and when I had nothing going on, when you didn't have time to yourself. But I don't know how I'd parse out the time anymore to consume a whole. Like I could do a movie, but even then, like if we watch a movie, we have to schedule it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how to put it into words, and that's exactly what it is. Because for me, it's similar. For me, well, that's a whole nother thing, actually. I was going to talk about reading, but
Go ahead.
in the evening is when I would do, like, what do you call it, like leisurely reading or watching something, anything, a movie, a TV show, some YouTube, whatever. And some days I'm just too tired to do that, because by the time I do my whole day, take a shower, and I get ready to go to bed, like you said, I have to schedule it, because at a certain point I need to turn off the lights and go to bed. I don't know how people, I don't know. Or just wait for the weekend, honestly, which even then might not happen, but
I don't know, like
it's a good way to fall asleep, but it's...
this would be an interesting way to track like how people like, and I'm sure there's focus groups on this out there somewhere about how people spend their leisurely time consuming media. I worked for a guy when I worked when I was in college. I worked for, he was a mentor, great guy, Michael Strong. I don't know if you knew, like in the basement of Dunbar, they had at Western Michigan, they had television studios, and they would put up on the bulletin board when there were little jobs they needed students to help out with for shooting stuff or helping in the editing room or whatever. And I worked for Mike, and Mike would whenever we'd talk about movies, because we were both movie buffs, he would always say the thing about why it's hard to, one of the reasons that people don't take into account as to why it's hard to make it in Hollywood is that the audience, the consuming market, they only have so many hours in a day. And once you become an adult, you're out there working and doing your thing, and then you take on other responsibilities, leisure media kind of takes a back seat, like once you hit, 24, 25, until you get to the weekend. And then you got to compete with whatever else is that, whatever music or TV shows or books and whatever's out there.
This is interesting, yeah.
So I'm curious if there's ever been like a study done just randomly of what leisure media people consume in a year and how they make their decisions.
Well, I'm sure there's actually, I would think there would be like quite a few. Because that would be interesting because environmental factors, I feel like, would always be changing that. Like what people are consuming now versus, 5 years ago is probably different. And of course, with the pandemic, I think everything was really different.
There's
so
pandemic,
that would be,
there's Instagram, there's TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I would just think that, like, it was, I think I've told you before when I saw that movie, The Player, Tim Robbins was a studio exec, and he was in the cool office, and everybody was wearing these, had great outfits and cool suits in that movie. And he was picking scripts all day long, every day. He was picking scripts, like 10 to 12 movies got picked in a year to go to production. And he was one of the people who picked them. And I can't even imagine the pressure that would be on for that. Like, it must be, I'm sure it's different now, like the allocation of what budget gets allocated to any particular project. A lot of it is privately financed now. Studios don't, I'm sure they can still get behind it, but the market for smaller market movies or mid-market movies is continually shrinking.
Yep.
And there's so much attention paid to these like big Marvel movies.
Yeah.
If you don't already have a built-in audience for your project, it's
Right.
got to be an uphill battle.
A really, difficult uphill battle.
Did I ever tell you about that? We should show you the preview for it. That what's his name? Bruce Campbell made a movie called Bubba Hotep.
Nope, I've never heard of
So
this.
he's a Bubba Hotep is a movie about Bruce Campbell plays a Elvis impersonator. But he was Elvis, and he got someone to replace him as Elvis, so he didn't. The story you've heard, is, at least in the context of the movie, is Elvis had himself switched out with somebody else, with an impersonator who played the real Elvis. And he's the one who died in the toilet.
Okay.
And the real Elvis took on a different name. It became an Elvis impersonator. And then just went on the road, and he lived for a long time. But then he ended up going to an old folks home where he was in, he became friends with Ozzie Davis, who is a black man, but is convinced that he is John F. Kennedy. And apparently it was a goofy movie. It was funny though. So it's Elvis impersonator and a black John F. Kennedy in a wheelchair. And the old folks home that they're in is situated on top of an Indian burial ground. And there is a specter who's like a mummy who comes at night and steals the souls of the old people. And the two of them have to fight off this thing, this Bubba Hotep. And I read some production notes on the creation of that movie, and it didn't have a giant release, but the director basically shopped it around independently to theaters. And anyone who would pick it up would, he'd pick it, and I think they made a couple $1 million on it. It wasn't he didn't get a large release, but I think that's what. Oh my God, this was probably late '90s, early 2000s. I remember my dad was going to work one day, and there was a theater out of the way, like towards St. Clair Shores, that was kind of off in a field. I know this theater because I knew the route he took. And he mentioned Bubba Hotep to me. I'm like, that is not your kind of movie. Why would you know anything about that? And that thing is, that at the time, it had already been out for like 2 years. I think it was the last movie that was in this theater before the theater closed, and they never took it off the marquee. And that, I'm just talking about it because it was a movie that got, it was something that was relatively independently financed. And the producers really had to, after they made the movie, it was kind of like me at the Honey Booth. They went from theater to theater, town to town to shop it like they were going to little independent film festivals to recoup their money. And this is really before the internet and YouTube really took off, but that is kind of a grand scale comparison of what like people are doing now on YouTube. They make their own things. They entertain themselves.
Yeah.
And while some of these shows are really fun to watch, I would be hard-pressed to tell you that there's not just independent videos of kids screwing around on YouTube that aren't, or playing around on their skateboards, that's just as funny. I can sit on Instagram for an hour, and that's an hour that could be spent spending money on a movie, and Instagram's free.
Yeah. And quick and easy access with your phone.
Business-wise, Michael Mendelovitz joins Mattel Television. I'm always interested whenever looking to expand TV content based on iconic Mattel IPs like Barbie and Hot Wheels. I'm curious how long a job like that lasts.
Yeah.
They just have Barbie released, and now they have to, a bunch of people get hired and let go to try and expand that revenue stream for Barbie.
Yeah.
And that a move like that the movie was central to it.
Yeah, very much so. I have watched the whole Barbie phenomena come back. It's been very interesting.
Hot Wheels is the same thing. They're making a Hot Wheels movie.
They're making a Hot Wheels movie?
Yep.
I wonder what that will, like live action or animated?
I don't know. I'm sure it's live action.
Oh. Well,
That actually probably would be interesting to watch.
I'm not going to lie. I probably would watch that. Hot Wheels? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They've been around forever. I'm a preschool teacher, and in every single classroom I've ever been in, there's always a tub of Hot Wheels. And all the kids know them. Remember the little, oh my gosh. I secretly love them.
Upside. What else have we not, did you want to chit-chat about?
I was just going to ask if you were excited for Dune 2. It said that it was getting released 2 weeks before it was originally supposed to come out.
All right, so here's my thoughts on Dune. I don't no offense to you, Tim, but you don't do it for me.
Oh, sorry.
He just
Tim.
doesn't. I mean, since you showed up in that ridiculous red, what was that thing? Where was he when I pointed that out to you? He was wearing like a
some award show, but I forget. But
blouse
yeah,
shirt,
with a big hole cut out in the front and the back,
it was just
maybe.
Total pandering to his generation about this, and I don't. Whatever your orientation is, totally cool. But I really I absolutely believe that his handlers and studio execs got involved and said, "Okay, look, we're gonna tap into the gender bending relationship of your generation, and you're gonna wear some goofy clothes."
I forgot to show you. I saw a photo the other day of Timothy Chalamet promoting, what is it, Wonka?
Yeah.
The Willy Wonka movie.
Which
in like
I
a
have heard
lavender
is-
purple, and I was like, oh man, I gotta show you because I love purple and I was like,
You know who took a giant
who's in
crap all over
Tokyo?
that?
Who?
Jesselnick.
As I was saying it, I was like, I know who did.
Took a giant shit all over it.
Well,
And the Johnny Depp movie, and you know what? I like Anthony. I don't always agree with his picks, but this one I'm totally down with. Not a fan of Chalamet, but Dune was great. Really liked it. Super entertaining. I like Batista in his role as the nephew of the Harkonnen of the Baron. I'm curious. I know they picked who's going to play Fade. Do you know some of the cast offhand? You don't have any of that pulled up, do you?
I know Zendaya is in that movie.
No, yeah, but the new one, they're...
Is it new people? There's new people. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
that
because in the
information.
first one, Sting played Fade.
Sting, like the musical artist.
It's before your generation, I know. That came out, you were like a year old when that came out. That was in 84.
Yep, probably. Yep.
Which, I don't know, I liked that movie, but it was so hard. Having not read the universe or read the books, if you would have seen David Lynch's Dune, it would be really hard to follow. I think I had to see it like 4 times before I got some sense of what was going on. And like they had their own vocabulary,
Yeah.
which they didn't explain. So if you watch it, you're like, I don't understand what that is. You kind of have to like put some of these pieces together on your own. Let's see who. I'm sure that anyone who's listening is like, so and so is playing. There's Dune 2. Part 2. You can fill the air while I'm looking around here.
What to fill the air with?
Fayed. Oh, your guy. What's his name? Elvis. Butler.
Austin Butler's in Dune 2.
Yep.
This is very interesting.
Leah Seydoux.
Oh yeah, we like her. I like her. You know who she is?
No. Christopher Walken's in this. He's playing Emperor Shaddam the Fourth. Oh, that's
You know,
good.
in the last couple James Bonds,
Oh, that's her. Yeah, I do know her.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Very interesting cast. Are
Tim
these movies super long?
You didn't see the first one?
No.
About 3. Javier Bardem's in this one. Okay, he was in the first one. Charlotte Rampling. Reverend Mother Mohiam. The whole universe is kind of constructed around, I think Frank Herbert, the guy who wrote it, he kind of constructed it around the Middle East because it's all desert, and a lot of the names of the characters in this movie sound Middle Eastern. So I think that's how he built it. But no, I'd be interested to see that. Zendaya looking skinny and wispy.
Very much so. What does she eat? When does she eat? How much does she eat?
Do you want to say anything about this Disney Hulu merger?
I just think it's an interesting move. It'll be interesting to see what it's like when it actually happens. I guess it's starting next month, but it'll be finalized like in another season or 2.
What's funny about, I mean, I guess it makes sense because they're expanding their library, but like Disney is so family friendly, and everything in Hulu is, it's not like they're absorbing a porn franchise or anything, but it's got all kinds of different properties in there that they're. It gives them, access to a wider audience, but it's funny that Disney owns it.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to keep the same brand, Hulu's branding, and it's just going to be a revenue stream for them. But
it's still odd.
Because Disney has forever been associated with like family-friendly, warm, cuddly content.
Yeah, and Hulu expands this, and it's not all.
Integration isn't entirely new. Disney Star Content Hub. Have you ever watched Star? I have not.
Star what? Like the channel?
Yeah.
No.
Available in countries like Canada and across Europe and Asia. No wonder we haven't seen it. Offers peeks into what the merger would look like. Star includes a variety of content from Disney's broader portfolio, including 20th Century Studios, FX, and Hulu. New user interface will most likely feature Hulu as an additional category. So it'll be the big umbrella of Disney, and then Hulu and Star and all
Under
this
it.
will be underneath it.
Yeah.
Positioning Disney Plus as a more comprehensive service. Hulu will be within Disney Plus as a more comprehensive service that aligns with competitors like Netflix and IMAX, which I got to tell you, I understand why they're doing it, but there's a couple of investment podcasts I listen to that are firmly convinced that Netflix will continue to dominate just because regardless, like Netflix produces all of a big chunk of its own stuff. It also owns a bunch of properties. Like they paid 400 some odd million for Seinfeld. But their big muscle that they have to flex is the data that they crunch. I don't, from what I've heard, I don't know how true this is because neither one of us works for Netflix, but from what I've heard, if anyone's going to bet on a service and buy them through the stock market, Netflix is, again, don't take financial advice from me, don't take buying equity advice from me, but the Netflix platform has so much leverage with the data that they pull and how they parse down who's consuming what. I don't think any other service out there comes close to their data vaults and their metrics and their algorithms. Like, I just don't think anybody else can touch that.
Yeah.
What they can service up to people. They have a huge library, and it's not just where you live, but it's also like they serve you content based on other stuff you've watched.
Yep.
And they do it really, really well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what kind of market share Disney garners in the streaming universe after they take over Hulu, like a year down the road. So that was all I had.
I think that was about all I had too. Talked about all the points that, yeah.
We still haven't picked out a movie, have we?
No, not really.
Yeah, we got to do that at some point.
I have some titles in the running.
Yeah?
Yeah. Isn't it my turn next?
It is.
Yeah. I think I found one.
All right, well, don't give it away here.
I will not.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your turkey day. We're going to go make some stuffed chicken roll-ups later.
Bye.